Hi, Stefano Molea here, San Diego criminal defense lawyer and partner at the law office of Shapiro, where we help good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime. And in today's video, I want to talk about some common objections you may hear in criminal court and what they mean. A lot of times, there's going to be a lot of TV dramas that have some resemblance to reality as far as what happens in a courtroom. So you'll hear lawyers object, and they'll be dramatic in their objections, and they'll say things that really don't make any sense. At least they're not consistent with real rules of evidence and what occurs in a courtroom. So if you are watching a real court hearing, I want to run through just a few of the objections that you may hear. All right, so one of the most common ones is hearsay, objection hearsay. And so essentially, if a witness is on the stand and talking about what somebody said outside of court, that's hearsay typically. Right now, the hearsay is a statement made out of court that's being offered for the truth of the matter asserted. That means that it's very directly on point to one of the main issues in the case. And so sometimes something that looks like hearsay and smells like hearsay is not actually hearsay because one of the exceptions applies, or because it doesn't fit in a very neat definition of being offered for the truth of the matter asserted. For example, if somebody is talking about what someone else said to them, you may say, well, that's hearsay, right? It was an out-of-court statement being made. But the question is, was it being offered for the truth of the matter asserted? Or can someone say, well, no, it's only being offered to describe my reaction to what that guy told me outside of court. So what did I do after he said it, right? Did I take action, or did I did it affect my state of mind? And so that's just a rough example of how something that appears to be hearsay may not be, but that's essentially hearsay, and that's when you'll hear an objection, when someone's talking about what somebody else said. Another one is foundation, objection foundation. And foundation is essentially the logical steps necessary for someone's opinion or a statement. So for example, let's say that I say, hey, John was drunk. Objection foundation. And the reason why I make that objection is because, how do I know that person was drunk? I haven't talked about what I observed of John. Was he slurring his speech? Did he smell of alcohol? Did he, was he stumbling? Did he have red, watery eyes, right? How do I know what a drunk person even looks like? Have I been drunk? So all those things would have to be first talked about and elicited from the witness before getting to the ultimate opinion that, hey, yeah, I saw him and he was drunk. So that's another common one. Another one you may hear is objection speculation. And this one, a lot of times, is pretty closely related to foundation. But speculation is where someone doesn't have really the personal knowledge to testify about something, right? So they're just guessing, or they're just trying to piece things together, but they don't really have sufficient foundation for their testimony. And so if I'm speculating as to what may happen or what somebody else might be feeling, for example, right? Or, something that I don't have the ability to have personal knowledge about, that's typically speculation. And so you'll a lot of times hear objection foundation and objection speculation close together. And then another one that you will hear is objection asked and answered. And so the reason why that one's kind of an interesting one is because a lot of times if I'm eliciting testimony from a witness and they see something I like, and I want the judge or the jury to maybe hear it again because I really want to emphasize the point, well, I may ask the question in a different way to get them to give me that very, very favorable testimony again. You're not really supposed to do that. So if the other side's awake, they're going to object to asked and answered. I've already asked a question, they've already answered it, it's time to move on. So hopefully this is somewhat helpful, and maybe now when you watch something on TV and you see something going on in court, you may have a little bit of better understanding of the types of objections being made. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them with the video, or feel free to give us a call. Law Office of David P. Shapiro. Again, my name is Stefano Molea. Our phone number, 619-295-3550.